I'm Principal Sheep. Welcome back to your classroom. Today, I'll be teaching about the basics of waves. What is a wave? Well, a wave is a phenomenon in which vibrations that occur at a certain point are transmitted to the surrounding area. Examples of waves are light, sound, and heat. They exist everywhere, from the sunlight to your voice. My voice that you're hearing right now is also a wave. What is wave motion? If you fix one end of a rope to a pillar and then vibrate the other end up and down like this with your hand, the waves will move towards the pillar. However, the rope is not moving toward the wall. To continue on, point 1 pulls up point 2, and then point 2 pulls up point 3. Now I'll teach you about the names that the parts of a wave is given. So the wavelength, which is a lambda, is the distance from the peak of the wave to another peak of a wave that's right next to each other. It can't be one that's like far away. It has to be right next to each other. And the amplitude is the height of the wave. Now I'll teach you the first formula and arguably one of the most important formulas for waves. How to calculate the frequency. The frequency is how many times a wave vibrates per second. The unit is hertz. The time it takes for one wave to pass is always seconds. If it's minutes, you have to convert it. If it's hours, you have to convert it. You have to convert it into seconds every single time. So the formula that you actually need to know is F equals 1 over T. F is the frequency, T is the time that it takes. Now I'll tell you another one that is, I think personally, is also very important. How to calculate wave speed. For this, you'll need to know two of the following: the frequency, which is hertz, the speed, which is also velocity but without the magnitude, which is meters per second, and wavelength, which is calculated as m in meters. The wave speed, the formula you actually need to remember, is V equals F times lambda. So basically, if you don't use the symbols, it would be speed equals frequency times wavelength. Now I'll tell you about the two types of waves: transverse waves and longitudinal waves. The difference of them is which way the waves sway. For transverse waves, they move perpendicular to the direction of the wave's movement. But longitudinal waves, on the other hand, move parallel to the direction of the movement. For example, the sound waves in the air and water, waves traveling through springs. So some parts are condensed together, but other parts are stretched. Now I'll teach you about how sound waves behave in the air. Sound is a phenomenon where vibrations, waves, travel through a material. Those vibrations push out the air molecules around the object, compressing them. This compressed, dense part of the air molecules is then pushed out even further by the air particles next to it. So imagine these are a layer of air. This one is pushed by sound, and then this one, it hits the other one, and then it keeps going all the way until it hits your ears, which is how you can actually hear me right now. In this way, the dense and thin parts of the air are created in a sequence, and this phenomenon of transmission as waves is called sound. And the waves of pressure changes are called sound waves. Compressions are where the air or whatever medium that the sound is in is tightly pressed together. Not tightly, but just pressed together. Rarefactions are when they're not tightly pressed together, but in fact further away from each other. Now I'll give you a question to see how well you understood what I said. The question is, Linda was watching the fireworks from inside her house and noticed that the windows in her house vibrated every time she heard the sound of fireworks banging. Explain why the windows in her house were vibrating and include the word air in your explanation. The answer is, the sound of the fireworks traveled through the air like waves, causing the window glass to vibrate. And that is it for today's video. Please like and subscribe if you learned something new. 3, 2, 1.